Hello and welcome to Amber's Dreams Tarot. My name is Amber and I'm going to do some tarot for you. So if you are new to the channel, welcome. I'll let you know kind of how I do things around here. Before each reading, I will go over my decks and I will pick the ones that I am guided to use for each individual reading. While I'm doing that, I also channel through clairvoyance and clairaudience, sometimes clairsentience, for each read as well. And what I was getting for this read was mastery of long-term goals is an overarching energy for this read, which is very fitting because of the astrology note that I was going to throw into this reading today. All right, so before I get too much into it, I just want to remind everybody that I'm not going to be reaching out to any of you to try to get you to purchase anything from any account at all. So if anybody does saying that they're me, be sure to report them because that's not me, and we want to make it harder for people to scam people. Let's see. If you are interested in a private reading, remote viewing, a dream interpretation, or an extended to any of my readings, you can find my contact information in the description box below. Okay, let's get into it. Oh, and please like and subscribe, share, comment, all that stuff helps the channel, and we really want to grow the channel. All right, so we have the mastery of long-term goals. All right, getting into it. August is a very busy month as far as astrological stuff going on. And I'm just going to put all my notes out here. And let's see. If you are watching this as I'm filming it or afterwards, just in the month of August 2026, and this will apply to you. If not, I'll put a timestamp in the description box of when the reading actually starts, so you can skip ahead. Or you can go ahead and watch it because there may be something in here for you. But otherwise, my readings are timeless. When they come to you is when you are ready, or it is time for particular messages that are going to be in the video. Okay, anyways. So we have eclipse season that we are kind of in the middle of. It started, well, let's see, in July we were in Lionsgate, which peaked on the 8th of August. And then we rolled into the total solar eclipse in Leo on the 12th. The next eclipse that we have will be at the end of the month, from the 27th to the 28th, which is going to be a partial lunar eclipse, at the same time having a Mercury cazimi. So the energy around here is going to be around emotions, healing, sensitivities, and particularly like stuff that has to do or coincides with communication. So during this time, there's going to be a lot of people communicating things that they haven't been able to communicate before. That could be because maybe I'm hearing like there was a hold on them to where they, couldn't say it yet. Or it could be something, one of those things where like it's very emotional and you just can't put it to words, or you just struggle, verbalizing it or sharing it with somebody. There's going to be a whole lot of this coming out this month. There already has been. This is going to make it all throughout the month. It's going to be off and on as far as like family issues, communication issues, not just with the family, but just in general. So do keep that in mind. Try not to, like kind of blow things totally out of proportion, because when emotions arrive, because this is a month of big emotions. Eclipses make big changes happen every time that they come around. They can also, you can have symptoms which can coincide with like fog brain, or maybe even a little bit of confusion, just disorientation, like altogether. So if you have certain conditions that would cause like any type of dizziness or anything in the first place, expect that to really flare up this month. And I'm sure like if you have that, it already has. At the same point, I am not a doctor or any type of medical profession. Definitely go get that checked. Even if you know what it is, just make sure that your doctor knows what's going on. If anything else, like if we could join the medical field with like, how these planets and the moon and everything are affecting us, like I think we could have a lot more effective healthcare. That's just me. And I know some doctors are, down for that. And I just hope that one day we can have it across the board. Okay. So I'll just leave this here about the Mercury Cazimi. You can pause the video, zoom in on it, take a screenshot, whatever, so that you can read that on your own. I'm going to move on to the right now. So right now being August 21st on a Friday is when I'm filming this. It's midday right now, and this is going to carry on to the 22nd, and then I have some information for the 23rd. So, let's see. So the overall energy is all that's being like hidden or repressed is coming out. It's being revealed. And for some people, this is going to be like an exposure. And for some people, this is going to be a self-expression. But basically, like all the stuff that's been hidden, it's going to be a lot of it and big things, because this is going to affect us personally, but it's also going to affect us on a global scale. Like this is going to be very, very big stuff. A lot of stuff that is hidden or just expressed is going to be, or hidden or repressed, sorry, is going to be expressed. And, kind of, the exposure part is like somebody's been doing some really bad things, like some corruption or who knows what. That's going to be exposed. It's already been caught. It just hasn't been exposed yet. Other things are the other flip side of that coin is self-expression. So people that feel like, oh, well, I'm not safe to express this certain side of me, whether it be, something having to do with, your sexuality, or I'm hearing gender reveal, or I don't know why this is popping up, but like when I was in high school, like I was just like rock and roll and goth and all the things. And at the time, like there was a Marilyn Manson album out. This was back in like the 90s. And, I was kind of people, if they were going to put me in a box, they would probably put me like in a goth box. Which I wouldn't like that. I would talk to anybody, and I've always been like that, like I don't really fit in one particular thing. I like what I like, and that's it. But right at the end of high school, or right after high school, somewhere around there, I think the Backstreet Boys came out, and my hormones were like, yes, please. Like, I know half of them are gay, but still, yes, please. These guys are hot. Because you know how teenage hormones can be. It was just one of those things like where, everybody's like, who are you? Like, this is not you. It's like, yes, it is. Like, I can be both. And that's kind of what I'm getting at is, maybe somebody has a side, maybe somebody has been, covering up their Backstreet Boy, love, because they feel like they have to have this identity, and everything has to coincide with this identity, and that identity is dark and mean and so it can't, you can't have this, Backstreet Boys in here, like, come on, that's going to mess up this whole thing. So if somebody, I didn't do that. I've always been like, I am who I am, but I know society loves to pinpoint people, and they will shove you into a box. And if you try to break out of that box, you can get made fun of. So that keeps a lot of people in the box. So right now we are in an energy coming off of something that we have been working on for a long time, struggling with this Saturn energy that we've been going through for a long time. This is slow and steady. This is probably something that's been going on for like the last 2 years or so. I'm hearing since 2024. So, something that's been a long struggle, but it's also something we've been dealing with for a long time. So, there is growth there, even though you may not see it, there has been growth there. And, this is rolling into, feeling safe to express yourself and be yourself, because we are really evolving from an identity into the true self. If you haven't already, now is the time to do that. And it's not even a thing of, there's just the fear is going to be gone just like that, overnight, and it's not going to be an issue. It's a thing of, even though you have fear with this, you would still rather choose self-expression over keeping up the facade of an identity. Because after a while, wearing a mask, it's very exhausting. It's a lot easier to be yourself. You may get made fun of, but you can get made fun of wearing a mask too. Here's the thing. You're never going to please everybody. So why not be yourself and do what you like to do. And, people are happier when they're able to be themselves, because you are accepting of yourself versus wearing a mask all the time. Where you can't, it's like you're hiding yourself. And society and the machine purposely does that, they need to keep everybody in line. But right now, whether the machine likes it or not, it is a big time of change, particularly from identity to the true self. All right, so moving into Friday and Saturday, which is August 21st to 28th, which is the energy that I was just talking about with reveals. In my one of my last reads that I posted, I think it was either yesterday or the day before, I kept seeing a kite, and I could not figure out why. Today, I was, catching up on what the astrology is right now, everything that's going on, which, by the way, I wrote down a suggestion of another YouTuber named Aubrey Stars, and that's AubreyStars. And she's an astrologer. So if you want to really get in depth on this, that's who I listen to today. You can check her out. She's very personable, has a good channel. I like her. She's to the point. She's good. All right. So today I learned that in astrology, there's something called a kite. And a kite is when 3 planets form a grand trine, which is going to be your easy flowing energy. And then the 4th planet sits opposite of those planets, adding tension and drive. So if you think of the shape of a kite, the ones across from each other here, and then this one down here, are the ones that are, they're flowing together. And then whatever it is at the top, that's going to be the one that is in opposition, and that's considered to be like the head of the kite. So with the particular, I didn't write down the planets that were in there. I think it was Venus and Uranus, and I want to say Pluto, but I'm not sure. I know Saturn and Jupiter are in there as well. But yeah, you can check out her channel, because I think I named an extra planet that's not even in there. But with the gist that I got is from the planets that are in the Grand Trine together, it's, giving us a easy, flowing energy. And the planets that are the one at the top adding the opposition is going to be adding the tension, but also drive. So it's basically a drive of something gets so uncomfortable that you're kind of forced to take care of it or deal with it or change it. No matter what, there is going to be a change because this is like a transitional period. But with the easy flowing energy, it's something that at this point, it's going to be a little easier to make that transition. Let's see, where am I at? Okay, I already went over that. So, oh yes, also whatever, if you look at where the head of the tip of the kite is in the opposition, then that's going to show you where your growth is going to be. And also urging you to look within your own birth chart to see if you have a kite in your own birth chart, and pay attention to where the tip or the head of that kite is as well, to know that in life that is where you are to have the most struggle, but also the most growth. All right, so here's the exciting part. I know everybody's tired of the struggle bus, but we've been going through this for a long time because we've been working with Saturn for a long time. And Saturn is, Saturn's going to come in, he's going to teach you lessons, and it's not going to be quick and it's not going to be nurturing. It's going to be like boot camp, except for it's going to take a really, 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 really long time. Saturn will forcibly teach you patience because you have no other option than to be patient when working with Saturn. Saturn also comes in and he's here for the big changes and the to give you big growth. He's not here for a haircut. He is here for like turning your life upside down so you can start a new better path. Saturn is learning a lesson slowly, just getting beaten into the ground over and over and over and over again. But you are getting stronger. You are learning the patience. You are learning your limits. You're also learning more than anything. This came up in my read yesterday, is that you are learning a lot of things that you thought you would not be able to endure, that you absolutely can. And even past the point of you absolutely can, but you can teach other people how to get through these types of situations and challenges. And like you pick up so many skills because these challenges will force you to learn new things just so that you can cope with the challenges. So you learn so much from this. So it's no fun, but you get such a big reward in these types of challenges working with Saturn. However, or I should say, because I say however, and it sounds like it's going to be something bad. No, I'm actually like, we're going to do comma, I'm going into something good. Here's the good news. So right now, within this season of the eclipse season, and right now with the energy of what has been hidden or repressed, now being exposed or expressed, particularly dealing with our identity, the struggle that we have been have been struggling with for so long. It's about letting go, let the old identity die, to be rebirthed into the new identity. And when I say that, it's like like a spiritual, metaphysical death, not like not your physical body. Okay. But Jupiter is also big energy. So we have like the biggest, like back in the day, this would be like the Gravedigger and Hulk Hogan, just two huge energies, but very different. One of them being seen more like the hero that's going to bring in the good stuff, and the other one just being, just brutal. And sorry, my mind wants to, okay, it's in my mind, so I'm just gonna say it, so because my mind does not want to move on without me saying it. But so I want to clarify that when I'm talking about like the hero and brutality of the Hulk versus, or the Hulk Hogan versus the Gravedigger, I'm talking about like 90s stuff, like, to where like he was seen as a hero, not the stuff that happened like later and how we would look at Hulk Hogan like as an actual person. I'm talking about their characters in the 90s. Yeah, because I just have a feeling like somebody is going to be like, oh, and then later, blah, 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 blah. And, it's just, maybe it wasn't the best analogy to begin with. But, anyways, I don't know why my mind was like, no, we can't move past this. It has to be said. So, I do apologize for that rant. It annoyed me too. All right. So, yeah, we have these working together. So not against each other. It's not a battle here. This is Saturn has been working with us for, for about the past 2 years. And here comes Jupiter, and and Saturn is like, all right, I got them nice and prepared for you. Like they're ready. They're like, now let's give it to them in a good way, because Jupiter is about success. It's about, like big success, and coupled with Saturn, you're talking about something very long term. Also talking about success that comes from that long term work of Saturn. So on both sides, you worked on this for a long time, and it was very hard work. And we have just reached into the energy where we are pivoting, and we are about to, like, we are just starting to see the rewards of that. Like, it is just starting to open up. Like, for me personally, it was a couple days ago, but it was yesterday that I could really, like, I sat and I just really started looking at it, to where, the door didn't slam open. It's just like, but it is opening up, and it is continuing to open up. And, after all that long work here, door opens up, we have long-term reward. So whatever you've been working on, whatever challenge you have overcome, what you have completely released, that is what your success is going to be tied to, like now and on, and continuing forward. Also going back to the head of that kite, looking at where your struggle and your growth is. That's going to also, tell you what the success is going to be around. Very exciting times. Please, if you have your birth chart and you look that up, please put it in the comments. Like, I want to know where has your struggle and where is your growth going to be, tied around? Like, what is coming into your life? Where's your growth at? Okay. That took a long while, as it usually does. All right. And so much of this is just, we are all, everybody's true selves are going to be shown. There's not going to be, hiding anymore. And as much as I hate this whole surveillance, mass surveillance stuff, this is the age of Aquarius, which a lot of that is thinking outside the box. A lot of it is like tech related. So that is part of it. Part of this exposure and, being oneself and not being able to hide anymore, that does tie into it. So there is pros and cons to everything. They have with mass surveillance, they have the potential to do some really amazing things. Like, you could cut down on on like the most heinous crimes out there. But look at who's controlling that and what's their agenda. You know what I'm saying? But with everything, there's the light and the dark. And that's another thing going on right now is that Saturn work is so much shadow work. And so there's a lot of people, they've been working on these challenges for the past couple of years and who have, recently kind of switched sides. Kind of like, I'm starting to see the negative for of this, or I'm starting more so it's not that so much as people are starting to realize, I don't think that's me. Maybe this isn't who I want to be aligned with anymore. Like maybe my values are more over here and this is who I would rather be. Maybe I've been doing this over here for a long time because, it pays good or it gives me status or, it makes people respect me or fear me or whatever the heck, but if I'm really being honest with myself, I would rather be true to myself and live this life over here. Where I don't have to, wear that mask, or I don't have to be this character. I don't have to perform to live, just wanting to live freely. So even on the scale of, looking at, national or even international scale, there are going to be people who have been on a side of oppressing other people who are changing in a way of like, that's once they got a good look at themselves in the mirror, they decided that's not who they want to be anymore. And that's not going to be for everybody, but that is definitely the energy coming up. And right now is like, the shift has just happened and, things are going to be exposed. So those people are going to be turning on other people as well. People are opening up. We have a lot more whistleblowers now because people are opening up. They're sharing their stories. Like I said, that can be exposure or self-expression. I think with a lot of the stories that we're hearing right now, where people are, exposing what's going on. It's both. They're exposing what's going on, but they're also like, this is my story and I own it and I'm not afraid anymore. I'm going to tell my story. And there is the opposition of that to where there are people that want to keep people silent, but it's not going to beat out the people who are saying, you know what, I'm not afraid anymore. Or I would rather face the consequences and express myself than to live in the shadows, to live hidden, to keep quiet, or to be this other, character anymore. So, let's all be grateful that we are alive at this time. Our souls chose that we wanted to be here for the big show. And, I think that's a wrestler too. But somebody's going to appreciate these references. Anyways, which is funny because like I'm not even like a wrestling fan per se. When I was a kid, like I had the action figures, but other than that, anyways, yeah. So we are, grab your popcorn. We're gonna have suspense. We're gonna have drama. We're gonna have pretty much everything we've had. Hopefully we get some comedy out of this and. We're definitely going to get some tears and some happy endings going on. So, we all chose this to be here at this time and, for everything that it is, you can't say that it's not exciting. So there's that. If you want to find the silver lining. All right. So, the mastery of long term. So whatever this is that we've been working on for, the past, couple of years, and this is going to be different for, each individual. And you can also look at it, as a collective, and groups, family units, work units, things like that. We have the things that we have learned and the struggles that we've gone through have taught us things and made us practice so much that we have all honed some type of mastery in something. And that is what you're going to be going forward with. And this is having to do with your long-term goals. Again, we talked about that. So long-term of Saturn, and then the long-term of Jupiter and the success that's going to come from it. I saw the wicks of my candle look like clovers. So having the clovers and the good luck. So it's, very auspicious and success. Let me put a pinpoint in that. Real quick, I do want to say also with the candle, when I lit it with the clover and the good luck, the flame went really, really high. So that's like an amplification of that. Also, expansion is really big. And then I heard it was crack-a-lackin', because it was like popping and locking and all the things. Well, it wasn't locking, but it was popping, it was cracking-a-lackin'. All right, so, challenging oneself, accepting a challenge for growth and happiness. So this is like right now, this is the energy of like we're ready. We're accepting of this. We're already, in the swinging into the success part of it. So now what used to scare us, we're ready to go. Let's do this. And we're actually happy about it. Like, it's kind of like when you're running, say you've been, running, swimming, whatever, in a triathlon, and now you can see the finish line. And your body is so worn out. You're probably thirsty as hell. You're sweating, you're stinking. Sometimes they pee and poop themselves, but when you see that finish line, you get friggin' happy, because you know you are there. And just a little bit more. And you know that everything you did was worth it, because you're going to get whatever the heck you win in a triathlon. Okay. All right. So that was the energies for Friday and Saturday, August 21st and 22nd. Moving on to Sunday. So Sunday's going to be a little break. It's going to be not quite that fire energy. It's going to shift into, I believe it's Venus. Because we're shifting from Leo to Virgo energy. So it's going to be a little more grounded. It's going to be a lot of contrast. Also, it's going to be a moody day. So the energies for that day are slow, stagnant, low energy, the struggle bus, and family issues and reactivity. So this is going to be a day where you are going to be, not feeling it. You're going to have, maybe a tendency to want to react. Just catch yourself. I think, the one thing that I like about when I keep up with astrology and moon phases and stuff like that is, because if I know what energies are at play, then I can see them when they're happening, and it makes me not fall into like a spiral of getting caught up in the whirlwind of the energy. Or in this Sunday energy, people could, be irritable, but they could also be like depressed or, exhausted. I'm getting, it's kind of like the energy of, knowing that this stuff is coming, being so pepped for it, and the Friday and Saturday before it, and then, and then Sunday comes and you wake up and you're like, where is it at? Why is it not here? One bad thing happens, and then you're just like flipping the heck out, and you're like spiraling down, and, so it's kind of like going from like mania, and then the pendulum swings, and I think Swift might be significant, so either something fast or maybe Taylor, but the pendulum swings the next day, and you kind of get the opposite. So you go from like optimism to straight into pessimism. And you know what? That's life. Like, it ebbs and flows. And it also, like, if you have to, the whole universe is about balance anyway. So don't get down on yourself. and also, if you know that it's coming, you can recognize it. It kind of, not kind of, it very much makes it easier to just look at it and be like, oh, yeah, that's that thing. Well, acceptance and, move on. And the next day is a different day. And throughout the beginning of next week, it's going to be going back to that, that I'm ready for like a challenge comes, and this time I'm not scared. This time I'm actually excited to do it, and a happiness and a gratitude. So, all right. Whew, that was a lot. Okay. I am going to, I'm going to grab a little sip of water before I get into the reading. Oh, I have no water. Okay, well, I'm just going to sit here and drink my saliva, I guess. Yummy. All right, so I got some new decks. And I first sat down thinking, ooh, I'm just going to use just these new decks, and it's going to be a quick reading. Then I sat down, and I was like, oh yeah, astrology update today, so not so quick. All right. Okay. So right off the bat, we have triggered, perfectionist, and parental control. So with the parental control, I immediately got kind of like what I would refer to as the machine or the man, just kind of that controlling bit of society and, telling you that you need to be a certain way with the perfectionist. And that really coming up. Do know that whenever you are doing healing, the triggers are supposed to come up. And if it comes up out of nowhere, then that's kind of an alert, hey, this is what needs to be worked on right now. Except for, I guess it's a lot more pushy and unsettling than that, but, it comes up to make you aware of it, basically. Also, I'm being led to tell you about in dream interpretation, when you have recurring dreams or when you have nightmares, that is, the more intense it is because it is like, hey, I need to get your attention. And if you still don't pay attention, then, things may start happening in your physical life. Like you may, say something or think a certain way and then stub your toe or fall flat on your friggin' face, those are all hey, getting we need your attention. This needs to be addressed. So if you can see it for what it is, it's not so bad. So when you get triggered, once you get to where you can actually look at it about, hey, this triggered me, and name it for what it is rather than saying this triggered me because, but just naming hey, I got triggered. And then, put some love into yourself, maybe do some tapping. If you aren't aware of how tapping works, I would definitely go check that out, go research that. But, and it even looks in this card right here he's doing the tapping, because that's around one of the meridians where you would tap. So yeah, when you're at a place where you can observe that you're being triggered, then you can accept it and kind of like if a child needs you and they're pulling on your clothes, rather than turn around and being like, what? You can, go back and say that you already did react as what to a child. And then the child gets, obviously upset. That, even as an adult, that would probably hurt my feelings. And, but then you turn around to the child and you're like, I'm sorry that I reacted that way. What is it that you need? So exact same thing. And so many of our triggers that come from our inner child anyway. So you really do have to treat, when it comes to self-love, you have to treat, a lot of parts of yourself the same that you would a child. A lot of shadow work and integration and healing well, integration is kind of further down there, but a lot of the shadow work and the healing is about reparenting. So there's that. All right. But in this instance, I'm really getting like the reparenting yourself from what society has told you is perfect. You work a 9 to 5. The harder you work, the better of a person you are. But yet that's, affecting your health, your physical health, your mental health. You have no time for yourself, you're snapping at people. Time to look at that, time to reconsider that. Whenever y'all are ready for the revolution, I'm here for you. Like, I am ready. Let's burn down the machine. All right. Not literally, but just make it fall on its own. Crumble. Anyways, just channeling my inner Skeletor, I suppose. All right. So yeah, this is like going back to the astrology that I was just talking about like we have this identity, and we have pressure and shame avoidance and hypercriticism around being this person, wearing this mask, being what society tells you you're supposed to be. But is that who you are? I don't think so, because you would have to be a friggin' robot for your true self to be like, yes, everything that society wants me to be, everything that the billionaires that own the world and keep me working like a slave want me to be, and say and not say, and do and not do, and work, money. That's exactly who I am. I don't think that's human. Like, honestly, I don't even think that's like alien. I think that is like robot. Yeah. So, it's really getting to the point, anyways, to where it's just not that it's not practical. It is not possible anymore to keep up this facade, whatever it is. And it may not all be a facade, but there's something there. And be careful what you consider your identity. Don't lean too much on the physical, because the physical is only a fraction of what we are. And we decide, if you get into manifestation and like spiritual alchemy and energy manipulation and stuff, you start to learn and eventually learn how that you create your reality. So what I mean by that is you are pulling from source and you are creating in the physical. So when you have any type of ID, and this is, by the way, why the government has for so long said you have to have an ID, because they want to tell you this is who you are. You're not this divine being. You're just this person who works at Kmart, 40,000 hours a week and, has a dog. I don't know. But, whatever, just be careful what you consider your ID, your identity. And, that's really what everybody is looking at, saying like, well, this is who I've always called myself, but is that who I really am? And anytime somebody does that work, they're always going to be, well, no, this is not me. And this is not me. And this is not me. So just kind of discarding all of these things. And you can get into a, like a midlife crisis, like, what do they call it? Well, anyways, where like your whole world kind of falls apart, because you can build your identity up, as to like what you do rather than what you are, or to, and fill it up with masks as well, that when you start taking all this stuff out and you see what you're left with, it can be very, very little that's actually you. And then that could, make you panic and ask the question, well, who am I? I have no idea who I am. And, that scares a lot of people, and then they want to grab all those things and say, oh, I'm this, this is the identity that I have built up for myself, and this is who I am. and, you know, go kiss the machine's feet. But I take that last part back. That was, sorry, that was, could have come off as being kind of rude. But the, how do I put this? I guess the illusion of what it is say you've taken all those things out and you were left with very little. The illusion is lack, because what is actually there is space, and an infinite amount of space. And that's the biggest illusion of all, is to think that there is only a certain amount of space for anything. There's not. There is always an unlimited amount of space for everything. And once you wake up to that, and then on top of that, once you learn to create with that, that is life-changing. But if you can, it's that lack of, this is all I am. I am, look at all this nothing. That's not nothing. That is space, and that is space you get to work with, and that is space you get to create. And if you are into physics, particularly quantum physics at all, look at, and I just looked up and saw low energy, because here's what I'm about to say. Where you can create the most, where alchemists and people that manifest, like hardcore, people that really know their stuff, where they manifest from, where creation starts, is from zero. 0 point energy. Okay, so forget the illusion of lack, because you only have this left. Maybe you only have one thing left. Maybe you only have a fraction of one thing left once you start clearing out what you are actually are not, what you have put towards your, or into what your ID is, but that's not your true self. When you have all of that space, that means you can create whatever you want. So from that point on, the world is your oyster. You can, just think about, well, I've always wanted this, and I've always wanted to do this, and I'd like this. And those are the things that you start putting ingredients into this, this circle, this cauldron or whatever. And then that is what you start to create. Because once everything, thoughts are so powerful. Like, we create with our thoughts. And when you start from zero and you put in a thought, that thought, once it, wiggles its way down, so I would say you have the thought, and you can start like with your conscious, like here's my thought. I'm just going to use this as an example. And this is very mundane, but say the thought is, I want my house clean. I'm a clean person. So a little later, you're going to have that same thought, and then you're going to have that thought again. And so now you're starting to train your thoughts into convincing yourself that, yeah, you're a clean person. And what do clean people do? Well, they sweep. So now your thought has been turned into a small action. And then you sweep, and as you're sweeping, things are getting clean, and you're like, yeah, this is the new me, And then the more you do that, then it becomes a habit. So you go from thought to action to habit. And it's just repeating. You repeat thoughts, they become actions. You repeat the actions, they become habits. You repeat the habits, they become, they can become like just beliefs. And you can, however long it'll take you. I think it's one of those things. Oh, wait, I'm hearing, because mastery came up earlier. So it's like, was it like 10,000 hours of something? You can go from not knowing something to mastering it. So it's repetition and it's practice. However much you do it is how ingrained it will get. Before you don't even question it, you are just a clean person. You live cleanly, and that's it. It's all about, dropping this identity that has been cultivated, that honestly has been structured mostly by society and Hollywood and your parents and stuff like that. But we're not doing that anymore. We are creating our own identity. And that's where the being triggered to be perfectionist because of this parental control. These triggers are going to come up. You cannot ask anybody who's ever went sober. You cannot make a good change and everybody be happy for you. There are going to be people who will try to sabotage you. There are going to be people that, try to talk you out of it. What you need to focus on is, where do you want to be? Where's your goal? You don't have to discuss this with anybody. In fact, I would kind of recommend don't. Because people, even well-meaning people, if their brains are trained to think in a doubtful and pessimistic way, then even though they love you, they may throw in a seed of doubt. So do expect that you will be triggered, but also know that that is part of this. And also know, if you have a day like Sunday, the 23rd of August, where you go back into pessimism and this isn't working, and, just having a hard day and thinking, oh, I'm messing it all up because I'm not putting 100% gold optimism in my recipe. That's not how this works. You are allowed to, have those thoughts and those days and those reactions. That's not going to mess up the whole thing. It's like this. Say you're like making like a cake batter, and you're putting all like your dry ingredients in there, and oops, I thought that was cinnamon, but it's actually paprika, and it's going to taste weird. But I haven't stirred it up yet. So I can take like a spoon and just kind of, take that out, toss it away, and then put in my cinnamon. Same thing in life. You have a bad day. You don't pack up and live there. You say, okay, I had a bad day. Process it. Maybe it's something that you needed to just get out of your system to create more space. Next day, go back to putting in the correct ingredients. And in doing that, you will also be practicing self-love. So, and that's cool too, because it's like you get to keep learning and creating and mastering other skills along the way. And I imagine if you mastered self-love, you'd probably be a very lucky person, I would imagine. I'm not sure. We are not cultivated as a society, I don't think, in any part of the world. Oh, look, optimism came out, and we have abundance on the top as well. Yeah, I don't think anywhere in the world is, are we taught and is self-love, like, cultivated, I'm also noticing in the triggered card, there's these faces in the background, and they're like screaming. So part of being triggered is going to be your inner critic as well. And you just tell that mother effer to shut up. And if it fights you more, you just start ignoring it. They're bullies. But they're bullies for a reason. It's like a messed up game, like you have to, in order to move to the next level, you have to know how to, defeat those particular characters. So we have true security comes from having a reserve of time, space, energy, personal power, and love. Make deposits in all of these accounts and you'll be a wealthy person indeed. And that is coming from security. So in this security card, it's like all of these different like deposit slips from like checks or something. So there is a manifestation practice that you can do because a lot of manifestation is you have to believe that it's already happened. Jim Carrey was doing this, or was talking about this like, God, decades ago, to where he wrote himself a check for, I think it was $10 million. And he would visualize, every night, like hardcore visualize, like, well, I have this and this is mine. That's that's my mansion. And here's my, well, I'm driving a Lamborghini and whatever he was, putting out there. But in his mind, he was living it like it already was. And then, the whole reason why in magic, or even in, certain religions and stuff, why they will have certain like rituals, is because when you put something in the physical, it helps you to believe it more. So you could literally write yourself a check and, you could date it in the future, or you don't have to date it at all, but just like to the order of, your name and however much money, what it's for, and, sign it. And, that is putting out into the universe, especially if you add to it the belief that it's already happened. And you just, it takes practice, but you continue on anytime that pops up in your head being like, oh yeah, that's, that's totally happening, because you're already convincing yourself that it already has. So it's like you're unlearning all the brainwashing that you've had like your whole life, and you kind of have to brainwash yourself for your better good. Okay. And emphasis on for the better good. So not just for your better good, but for the better good for all. Like, don't get destructive, like selfishly destructive is what I would avoid. All right, so we have shine. And shine coming out on the triggered. So it could be, and there's this halo around their head. And an eye at the top. So this particular shine could be, somebody could be scared to shine their light. It could also be that this person has like clairvoyant gifts, telepathy in particular, that it maybe if they don't know what is happening, this could be triggering for them, or it could be maybe they could have grown up in a religious environment where some religions will condemn you and tell you that like you're evil if you have certain gifts. And again, just know that is just to suppress you. So a lot of people may be coming out spiritually. In fact, I think that's going to be a big part of it, because we have so much, going on right now that is unlocking these abilities in people. People are waking up to them and realizing that, like, this stuff is real. And then people that have kept it hidden, I'm talking for generations throughout their family, because remember, we used to get burned at the stake for this kind of stuff. Or hung in the gallows, people would, keep quiet about it, or they'd throw you in an asylum, But now it's becoming something that we can discuss, and it's something that science in the military is, becoming a little more open with the public about it. Remote viewing and telepathy coming out as the main examples that I have. They still want a tight lid on anti-gravity, though, but cat's out of the bag on that one. And rest in peace for the people that have disappeared that were talking about it for a lot of this. And again, that's like the second time coming up to where it's like, there's people speaking out about this, and people... And then, the opposition's like unaliving them for it. But yet people are still coming out. And in fact, I think people are just coming out more. And not only that, is people, the general public have finally started to see, wait a minute, this is looking like a pattern, because this, these people got exposed by this person, and now this person is no longer with us, and they were quite young. And this doesn't really add up, and just really seeing the pattern of it. So people are, becoming a lot braver. They're, in the opposition, they are trying to stop this information from coming out so bad. They are trying to keep people in shackles and, under their control, and they are losing control. And when people lose control, they do very rash things, and that is what we're seeing. And but it's just going to continue. Like, what is being hidden is going to be expressed, and sometimes that expression is exposure. All right, this says, I am an amazingly strong, competent, take no shit, speak my mind, forward fucking badass. So yeah, same thing as what I was just saying. So people are speaking up. They are saying, this is who I am. And that whole, like, amazingly strong, like the strength that has been gained out of this. The last 2 years, this Saturn coming in and, putting everybody through this boot camp has made us into soldiers. And soldiers aren't going to get, afraid from, the littlest thing. Like, they are trained to fight despite their fear, and fighting for freedom. Except for right now, it's a different type of battle and war. Okay. All right, let's go into the charms and letters. If you are still here, please like and subscribe. And if you want to add to that, you can share and comment. All of that really helps the channel. And I just love it when you comment, because I like to hear everybody's experiences and how these relate to everybody's lives. And I've just always been fascinated with people in general, and their stories and stuff, because I just really love, like, anthropology, and people just fascinate me. So I love to hear what's going on in y'all's lives and how it relates. And I think it's helpful as well, because you'll start to see how other people in the comments, when there's enough comments, you'll start to see how other people in the comments are living very similar situations, which I think is really helpful at times when, like, you could feel like, like you're alone with something. And it's like, nah, man or sister, there's all these wavelengths going on, and there's going to be just tons of us on each different wavelength, and it's so neat, and it does, literally show you how much of a oneness we have with each other. But anywho, I'm going to stir this up. It's going to be quite loud, so you can turn down the volume on your phone, or you can skip ahead about 10 seconds. Okay. So while I was shuffling, I was getting messages of, like, this ends, kind of, not going to take, this shame put on you, or, not going to take this treatment anymore. I didn't get it so much as, like, like a revolution, but I got it more of, like, just on a personal level. Somebody saying, I'm not accepting that anymore. And this is end. Like somebody just putting an end to something. I'm also seeing somebody's name may be David. All right, so I would like you to look inside the little box any words or names or initials or charms that stick out to you, I want you to take that with you, for you, as part of your reading. And you can zoom in and pause the video if you need to. But I'm going to take this away. You can always go back and pause that so you can look at that. Alrighty, so right off the bat, we have pizza. And every time I pull this pizza, I hear something different. Sometimes I hear varieties. I've heard slice. I've heard like chilling or relaxing type of thing, pigging out. This time I heard like Pizza Gate kind of stuff. So this is something that is being fought and with this exposure energy, like that is something that we're going to have some more exposure on that for real. That's also I think what people are not going to be afraid of. They're going to speak their mind. Yeah. People are speaking out about that. All right, so, oh, that's interesting. So I have this little stick figure of like a little boy, and I was trying to pick him up. I was able to pick these up, but I tried several times to pick him up, and I can't get this little boy to move. So that is going to be significant for somebody. Okay, next I have this leaf, and this particular leaf always reminds me of autumn or fall. And this one to slide over next to this boy. So this is going to have something to do with like a fall timeline. Could be next month or just within the fall season. And we have the world. So, yeah, this is going on in a collective state, but it is also the world as in it is the end of a very long journey and cycle. And, you know, after the world card, you start the next journey as the Fool. You step into something new. So the end of a long journey. We have the pendulum as well. So I would like you to think of a yes or no question. And I want you to focus in on that question and then pause the video. And when you unpause the video, I'll have your answer for you. Okay, so that was a very steady, firm no. It did not even start out wiggling as a yes at all. Like from the get-go, it's just like, nope, and stayed there, very steady. And I also heard that, like not going to take it. All right, for our letters, we have N-O-T, another T, D-R, another R, P, and A. So we have not, we have DR as in doctor or drive, I'm hearing. Somebody could live in an apartment, or there could be a doctor appointment. We have no and not. So, yeah, somebody is definitely standing their ground. I'm hearing despite being triggered, somebody is standing their ground. And I heard trap. I heard don't trap. Like somebody's like don't trap me in, or yeah. We have port. We have, oh no, there's only one A. I was thinking AARP. Okay. We have tarp. We have rowan. Specifically just heard somebody has a dog named Rowan. It's a pretty dog, too. I think it's a husky. Looks like a husky. Okay, so don't trap. We have tart. Part. I'm hearing partner. I'm either hearing partner or I'm hearing there's like certain southern people say partner, meaning almost or close. Well, I'm not seeing anything else. I'm sure there's other stuff in there. If you see anything that I did not, please put it in the comments. Otherwise, please like, subscribe, and hope to see you next time or see you in the comments next time. And if you would like a personal reading, my information is in the description box below. Thank you all so much. Have a good one. Bye.